this just now. 15-time winner of Cup of Excellence. 15. Yes. That actually makes this man the most Cup of Excellence winner in the world. Yeah. But you told me number 2 is on 13 wins.
Yeah, so it's a strong.
Yeah. So, but you will have the title for at least 1 more year. Yes. Very good. Yeah, let's say welcome to Gilberto Baroana, coffee producer from Los Pioneros in El Salvador, right? Talking about having a diverse business to spread the risks, and I'm not mentioning this because you might have seen in the program. It says Grain Pro, the most expensive trash bag in the industry, right? But it's being it's good. I mean, it's good as a trash bag as well. It's really good quality actually. But we all know that specialty coffee would taste jute without that. So thank you for providing the world that product as well. But you're not only a Grain Pro man, you're also a farmer, and the stage is yours.
Okay,
thank you. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? Oh, please. Thank you very much for having me here in Oslo. Before I start, I know that as they saw the presentation, they told me it was a little bit long, but I'll try to go very faster. First of all, I really want to thank Norway for one reason, several reasons, but my first specialty coffee that I sold 12 years ago was sold here in Oslo. Was to a company called Café Verineriet. Is that right? They're here? Yeah. They bought the first coffee from me. Then the second year was bought by Tim Wendell, who was still here. Yeah. We still have a relationship. And I still have a relationship with, strong relationship with Nordic approach, with Morten, that has been a very good friend of mine for years, and given a lot of feedback. So thanks very much for all the people here from Norway, and I'm glad to see you all. They asked me to make a presentation on how to improve the coffee quality through different coffee processing methods. I get very excited about this. I think I'm an economist as a professional financial person, but I think I should have been more a cook, you know, than that, because I love the kitchen, and part of my job I put a lot of emphasis into what I do. I usually, when people come and visit to my mill, they come and say, "Oh, your mill looks very nice, it's very clean." Also, yeah, I see, it's like a kitchen. You know, if you're buying a product of food, you want to go to a mill that looks clean, it really looks nice. So, you know, I have that kind of genetics on my part of being a cook. So, going on the presentation, this is not me now, probably I would have been there if I was in the specialty coffee business, but this is what really happened right now with some producers. You know, the situation is very critical. I don't want to bring this because I really want to make conscience on everybody, and those people, what I've heard, they're conscious about the prices and how the producers are being able to survive. The situation is really bad right now. Low prices are low. The leaf rust attack was really bad. We have climate change. Producers have accrued loans. There's a lack of interest of young people who get into the business in coffee farming. So you don't see any more young people coming to the farms. In some countries we have violence and crime. In others we have no land property security. Okay, so the current farming in the most producing countries is extremely non-profitable at these prices. You know, getting paid peanuts, and it's very risky. You know, have you ever seen the Roya? But this Roya that you see now, I saw Roya in 1970. My grandfather had a heart attack when he saw it because he thought he was going to lose everything, the farms. This one that we have right now is the Super Roya. This thing is Roya with steroids. I mean, this is not the normal stuff. So it's very destructive. First, I want to talk about the current coffee trends consumer needs. Why? Because a lot of you are roasters or importers, and I know that the coffee market right now is demanding a higher quality. These are some of the things: traceability, transparency, information of the coffee, the farm, the producer, the barato, the process, communication. There has to be a lot of communication between the producers, farmers, and the roasters. A lot of my improvements that I have had in the past or in the beginning were given with people like Nordic Approach, who have been traveling to Tanzania, Africa, and all these places, and tell you should do this, you should do that, or team, you know, you should do this or that as a roaster. that helps me a lot how to improve what I have been doing. There's a movement about new coffee varieties cultivation and innovation in coffee processes. And I know you guys, the roasters, they're always telling me, what about shelf life? You know, I buy these coffees in July and I get it by September and they're not tasting good. So, you know, we have to work into this. So this is one of the things of the worst that we hear about the coffee industry that is going on right now. This is one of my coffees that are being sold in Canada. You can see all the information that they want. Now they put the aromas, you know, and all that. The customers are asking for that. Oh, I want a coffee that has bergamot notes. Okay, here. So, all this stuff is happening. Is that true or no? I'm not lying. You tell me if I'm lying, you're lying. Okay, you can stand up and tell me you're a liar. Okay. I love this picture. You see this guy that just got these bags, you know, says, you know, what you guys want? You want continuous innovation, experimentation. You know, there's people on the, you know, roasters, producer importers going to my farm and say, hey, you know, I want to do this fermentation process that my grandmother taught me here in Oslo, you know, with bread. You can do it here. Okay, you can do it here, but you have to pay more for the coffee. Then you have marketing info, pictures, people asking for awards, certifications, so there's auctions. You know, there's a big demand of all this information going on, you know, that people need, and you as a roaster need in order for the coffee to sell the coffee, really, because we're in the information world. What do I think about the situation? I know there's a critical situation in the coffee industry, but I have done previous presentations to producers, and I don't like to talk about specialty coffee as the definition of specialty coffee, because there's a lot of definitions. What I call specialty coffee is it's one thing. I'm sure that adding value to coffee is the key to bringing profitability to the coffee production change. I know that the previous presentation we're talking about that, but quality is a key. It's very important. And coffee's differentiation is part of that. Coffee differentiation, in my definition, is a specialty coffee, and specialty coffee will give higher prices. Okay, that's what really, I mean, people that are not in the specialty coffee business or they're making a different thing with their coffee, they're just going to go in the C market and they don't want to be up because they're not going to survive. And there's two routes, in my opinion, to improving the routes for producing coffees that customers are willing to pay more. Or one is improving the quality, okay, on the farm, agricultural level, and the coffee processing level. So quality is not only, you know, I'm going to process this coffee very good. You know, also in the farms, when you go to the farm, you see that the trees are dying. You know, they're like that. I mean, it doesn't really feel like you're going to get Quakers, you're going to get coffee with Broca, you're going to get plants which quality-wise, farming-wise, it doesn't have good quality. So you require good quality. And according to this, part of my work in the past year has been approaching both parts, the farming and the coffee processing part. Another routes that people or buyers are looking for getting higher prices is going through certifications, sales, auctions, and awards. There's people in OSIA, you know, organic, bird friendly, and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's people probably they don't have the highest quality, but they have some certain characteristics in their coffee that they can produce in order so they can get a higher price into it, which is fair. I mean, they're doing something that is differentiated. So when people tell me, a farmer says, hey, you know, yeah, you sell specialty coffee because your farm is 15 meters above sea level and I'm 800. That's not an excuse. I mean, you can go organic, you can do a lot of things that add value to your coffee that will help you, you know, get higher prices. That's Pedro. He's been working with me for more than 50 years. So improving coffee quality at the farming and agricultural level, one of the things is varietals. You know, genetics has a lot to do. Bourbon will taste different than, you know, Catuai. You know, there's the varietal Pacamara that you try tastes different than, you know, the Manago. So the soil conditions, the terroir that you know, plays a lot of importance. Plant nutrition has a lot to do. There's a lot of studies that said that the using of more amount of potassium, and probably can Tim tell a little bit more after his presentation, that will improve quality. I have done experiments that, you know, increasing the volume of potassium when we're farming, that give you more cups of excellence awards. I can say. All this stuff you have to, you know, cross it over after that. But coffee agricultural activities also is very important. And picking and selection and sorting, because I've seen some pictures, you know, they're probably great farms, great plants, but when they go to the picking, doesn't look nice. Green, yellow, and all that. That won't work. So you're failing in one of the process, you're failing. You get Quakers, you get coffee that doesn't taste good. I know some producers are struggling with that. Then we have improving coffee quality on the industrial or processing level. Okay, we have the farming, and now we go to the milling part, the one that I like a lot too. All that you see is a new equipment that I bought from Brazil, a lot of hoses and a lot of stuff, but basically it's doing its work. What do we do on the industrial processing level? We do a personal training. It's very important. We want people to know how to operate the machines. Equipment selection, like you guys, baristas, there's different kind of machines. Some are better. Can I say Nordic is better than Proven? I don't know, but some people believe that. So there's different equipment. Then you have the wet milling, the coffee, the pulping, fermenting, and drying, the dry milling, the coffee milling and prep, and since I've been working with Grain Pro in a lot of time, also very important is coffee protection and warehousing. I've seen a lot of producers that go over this, but when they finish doing it, they put the coffee in burlap bags and they put it in a warehouse, and there's the humidity will go up to 60%, and then the coffee fades and it's done. So coffee warehousing, as any product, coffee is alive. It's an agricultural product. It's live. You have to store it well. You have to protect it. Okay. So what I've been doing for the past 10 years, okay, something like that. This is me in my farm. Well, this is not me, but probably I've been doing a lot of work on the farming and the processing level, and I love this picture. It was taken from a buyer from Taiwan, and you can see a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of processes being there. The colors gives you all this information. I dry almost 99% of my coffee in African beds, and I buy land not only to grow coffee but to put more beds. Why? Because in my opinion, it's the best way for drying coffee. And how I learned that? From Morton, when people come and say, this is the way they do it in Africa, you should try it, this is the way you have to do it. So, 5 of my coffee, the 1 cup of excellence this year are there. We're there. Okay, somebody you want to try today want to be also there. So a little bit of what I am. I have a farm. I have farms. The farms that I have is the Pirineos, the most famous one. It's in the top of the Tecapa volcano. You can probably see there. It's right here. There's 21 craters of the volcano. The volcano has a big crater that exploded 21 times. So I'm there. I'm the east side of the country. Not many people know them because I'm not part of where the coffee is good, and it's not tourist coffee. Only good coffee. Is that right? My friends from the south. I have an altitude of 1,000 to 1,600 meters above sea level. I have a farm of 100 hectares. 85% of my coffee is shade grown. I have awards, 15 of them. And I'm the first farm to be certified by the World Coffee Research this year to sell the Pacamara seeds. If you want to buy Pacamara seeds in any place in the world, you have to talk to me. Because I've done all the process certification in order that you get the stuff that's been genetically tested, and it's because there's Pacamara and there's Pacatrouble. Some stuff is Pacamara, is Pacatrouble. So, but that's also, my farm has been the cradle for the development of some also experimental varieties called the Milenio or F1 that has won a lot of coffee excellent prizes in Nicaragua recently. And that's my mill, but before that, I think I should go something very important. See the volcano that it is right here? When I built the farm, I built in my past life for 15 years to be in the coffee industry, probably more than 60 micromills. So when I built mine, I learned a lot of stuff about how to build them and where to build them. I built my mills one of the highest elevations in El Salvador for a micromill, and I did that for one reason. I needed a place that was very cold temperature and a lot of wind and a lot of sun. So the mill was built for that, with a lot of the most amount of sun exposure, the lowest temperature I can get, and a lot of wind. So this is, you have to wear a cap. I mean, people being there, it's very windy. And then, why? Because that's good for drying. It's excellent. I have a natural drying system. The mill was built in 2010, basically with equipment from Colombia and equipment from Brazil. Right now, I have a park of 350 650 African beds. I'm going to 1,000 this year. 95% of the coffee is dry there. Basically, I do exportations of around 11 to 12 containers, 69 kilogram bags, or most of it is specialty coffees all over the world. This is what I've done to the farming and agricultural processing level. I did a project that, I'm getting old, but I don't know if I'm going to be able, I'm almost getting ready to finish. But it started basically 10 years ago. And I wanted to start, understanding what were the varieties that I need to plant in my farm. The farm was really hit by Roya, so I had to replant, so I have the opportunity to do things good again. So I decided to start collecting seeds from all over the world. A friend brought me seeds, Also, the Sirat Institute, which is the French institute in France, gave me some baby plants, to test tube in order to start a varietal garden. To this point, I have a 70 varietal garden and growing of different types. And then I plant them. So that took me 4 years really to collect the seeds into all these coffees. Then I planted the seeds, and then have to grow in this plot, to see how this were developing in my farm conditions and everything. And then I have to wait 2 more years, and I got convinced Steve to come here for free, and start copying all these varietals in order to decide if, the Rumen Sudan that I have or the Kenya that I have, was tasting good or was tasting bad. So we did a 2-year trial, remember? Yeah, 2-year trial, and then we got a list, and we decided what plants were good and what plants were not. Even though they have a nice name, but they were not really copying well. So all these processes, 4, 7, 9 years. And I had to be also a humidity and control temperature place to put the seeds in order to protect them. Then I had to establish, after I had the plot, which was only 5 plants, the varietal garden, I did a test of the selections that I had of 500 plants to the field. And that took me 2 years, because once you plant it, I still have to wait until it grows. Then I established, that took me 2 years, then I established a nursery last year of 80,000 trees, of a total of 28 varietals. 11 of them were Roya resistant. But 11 of them were Roya resistant and good cup quality, not only the restored, but good cup quality. In the other 70 varietals were high score cup quality. So all these coffees are being planted in my farm right now. They were planted between last year and this year, and I expect commercial production between 2019 and 2020. That's 3 years. So if you count that, this has been a 15-year project that I hope finally, people will buy this coffee. But has been taking a lot of time. So this is an endeavor that in order, I was attacked by Roya, but I took a bad situation to opportunity to convert it to a good opportunity. I had a chance that my grandfather didn't have. My grandfather was not able to go to Kenya or Ethiopia and get these seeds. I was able to do it. So I had the opportunity to establish a new farm again with all this stuff. This picture is very important for me because one reason. How many people have you traveled to Ethiopia? Okay. Have you seen that most of the plants in Ethiopia, how they are, how they look? Some of Ethiopia, most of the growing is on the backyard of people's houses or in the wild or in the forest. And sometimes those plants, they don't get the quite nutrition or they're not in optimal condition. In my opinion, Ethiopian coffee is one of the best in the world, or probably the best. Or there's the crate of coffee. This is an Ethiopia plant from Jima in my farm, given the perfect conditions. See the difference? So this is Ethiopia Jima, with superpowers. So that's what we have to do. Take the stuff that is good and bring it and work it well, and be able to plant it. The coffee is copying, marvelous, excellent. Yeah. So also another thing that I've been doing, I've been planting shade trees. There's one misconception that is very important, that people believe that the higher you go, the higher the altitude, the better the coffee, and it's not that. The thing is, you need to be in the area has to be cooler. The cooler the area, the cooler the coffee is being mature, then the maturity process is better, the sugars are better. So if you have a farm, let's say 1,100 and has a lot of shade, that coffee will be better than 1,500 with no shade because the temperature. What is giving the sweetness, like a fruit, is the coldness. So when you're high and you have trees, there's no cold. Some of the coffees that I'm being selected. This is a plant that usually was discovered by Morton in one of his trips, in one of my experimental plots. I had a picture of you eating it, but I didn't want to bring it because I think it was not a good time to do it. But we found this one. It's an orange pacamara. I have won 5 times Cup of Excellence with this pacamara. Right now, we're developing a yellow pacamara that was a spontaneous hybrid that happened in the farm. I'm doing the Bourbon Elite, which somebody you don't know, but Bourbon Elite is the Bourbon that my great-great-great-grandfather brought from somewhere, way back. But are the Bourbons that are really the tasting ones. Some people sell the coffee still to reproduce it. Then I have another one called a Maragheisha, that is basically a variety that in the garden was next to a Maracaturra, and it was next was the geisha. So what happened was they got married, and it happened a Maragheisha. So we're doing this reproduction back genetically. And then I have what one called Pyrenees Carimor, because this is like hyperpower plant that we have.